Hey, it's DBJ, and this is a slight video response slash conflict generator for the RPG community. And this is in response to Tabletop Gaming with Juce and Maps and Dragons, Mr. Philip Posey. And this involves something that I'm having a great time in the game with. I actually posted a comment, but I wanted to do a video on this one, and that is character growth in the game. And I'm going to be actually specific simply because I want to create some conflict here, but I want to know what you guys think about this as well. For years, since the paladin was first introduced into the player's handbook, it has been and is still considered one of the most restrictive classes in the game. Most specifically because, not just because it has a code of honor, because there's plenty of classes that have codes of honor, but because they're lawful good. And that alignment itself causes such derision. I always call it poking a paladin. You know, it's this thing where playing a paladin, how to play a paladin in the group, you know, lawful doofus, lawful stupid. You get people who are, you know, they're a one-note character. They're, I detect evil and I cleave. I detect evil and I smite, and that's all they do. On the other hand, when they play a more complex character, everyone at the table is like, no, a paladin wouldn't do this. You have to atone every other die roll. It's like, no, you're going to lose your paladin abilities. There's no way a paladin or a lawful good person would do that. And I'm going to come at this from another angle, right? And I would say, except for maybe clerics. Why is it that no one changes their alignment in the game? And I say no one because it's not true. There are many players out there who specifically have alignment changes. There are plenty of first and second edition magic items that when you use them, they change your character's alignment. But it seems like there are more people willing to poke the paladin, but not themselves. Here's what I mean. Let me be more specific, right? You get yourself Ariana the Knight, and she's lawful good. And then you got Dougal the Cutthroat, and you know, he's, I don't know, neutral evil or something like that, right? And you're like, well, these two characters wouldn't get along. There's no way they'd be around each other. It doesn't make any sense. But let's say, for the sake of this purpose, the holy church that Ariana is associated with has hired this cutthroat to do the job that the knights can't do. So now they're working together, and they're going on these adventures. You know, every time they come across the goblin babies and the orc children and the pregnant, you know, mommies of the bugbears, you know, you have the argument: do you kill him? Don't you kill him? You know, who's in trouble? Blah 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 blah. Right? And for the most part, it seems in many games that people take a hard line on the non-lawful good side. It's just like, oh, the way you're thinking is stupid. This makes more sense to do it this way. It's much more practical. And I make this argument. I would make this argument that the character class itself, Paladin, tends to have a high charisma. They have a code of honor that is extreme and dedicated. Why is it we are able to accept people being influenced by evil, bending towards evil, turning evil, doing evil things? Why wouldn't that, the presence of good, also change people? You know, having people in a village who have more or less been neutral now start doing good things. An assassin who's, you know, out for themselves, I'll cutthroat, I'll steal anything, start thinking about things differently. There, except for the paladin and the cleric, as a side note, there's very few downsides to having your alignment change when your character class. You can have an assassin who eventually becomes neutral good. There's nothing that says your abilities change. And of course people go, well, my character wouldn't backstab and blah, 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 blah. Well, I would disagree with that. If you have a skill set and you're using this skill set to help people, I would disagree that backstabbing people, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're quote unquote exactly stabbing someone in the back. You know, there's everything from, you know, tying a rope around someone's neck to kicking them in the back of the knee and knocking them down and then slamming an elbow into their head to, you know, literally stabbing them in the back or cutting their throat or smashing their face against the wall or something like that. You can come up with all kinds of descriptive ideas, but the idea that the paladin is the one that gets punished for not playing their alignment, but every other character class doesn't receive any penalties for changing their alignment, doesn't get nearly the attention for doing things that are alignment changeable. It's just bizarre. So the reason why I'm going to go back to the beginning about this being a video response. For Maps and Dragons, he was talking about a social contract. And the social contract, in essence, is like the metagaming version of like, hey guys, we are going to get together. These are the things we're going to have in our game. These are the things we're not going to have in our game. We're all going to agree with them. It could be, for example, it could be sexual assault. I do not feel comfortable with anyone bringing that up. Maybe as the game is going, maybe this comes along and you got bugbears, and the bugbears are into sexually assaulting the characters, and one player says, you know, I'm feeling really uncomfortable about this. Have respect for that. It's a metagaming thing, sure, but whatever. Have respect for it. Okay, you know what? We're going to gloss over it. This movie is PG-13. We're not going to show you what goes on. We're going to fade to black, come back, someone's hurt. That's what we're going to do. Those kind of things. And my thing about playing games in which, you know, many players that are like, hey, we don't use an alignment system at all. It's perfect. In 5th edition, with personality, ideals, bonds, you know, flaws, you almost don't even need an alignment system. But if you decide to use it because there's some magical effects that have alignments and whatnot, okay, to use it as a guideline and not a specific rule, I don't understand why it is that many people who create characters are reluctant to change their character over time from their encounters. You know, a lawful good character that starts out lawful good and is affected by the things that they see, the horrors that they see, and they start changing their ways. Maybe becoming more hardline and becoming lawful neutral. Maybe understanding that there is a reason to break the rules and becoming neutral good. And still maintaining that character. Also, getting back to Juce's comment about, you know, people typing up like, you know, 3 pages of background. They come to the table with this great storyline, this great arc. They come to the table with everything written down. They take place in the game, and then all of a sudden, no matter what happens in the game, their character's arc never changes. You know, it's the idea of Indiana Jones, and he's got a scar on his lip. Why has he got a scar on his lip? Well, when he was a kid, he picked up the whip and went to, you know, used the whip to get the tiger, the lion away, and it whipped him on the lip. Well, what happened? What else happened? He was running away from some guys. He fell into a pit full of snakes, and then from that point on, he just hated snakes. Did he have a penalty against snakes? No. You know, he had to roll a will save or, you know, make a saving throw. Not really. Just hate snakes. Okay, well, that can continue on to hating snake people. I don't like troglodytes. I don't like lizard men. They just give me the heebie-jeebies. Whatever. Learning something in the game. There's an old post that I have about being able to compromise in the game where someone makes a ranger and their hated enemy is an orc, and then someone else joins the game and they're making a half orc, and you know the very first thing out of somebody's mouth is, well, my ranger would kill your half orc because he hates orc. Okay, long story short, I'm going to end this rant like this. When in doubt, role play it out. That's my point. When in doubt, role play the situation out. Let it roll out. You don't have to pick up dice and just say my character kills your character. You don't have to say beforehand, hey, let's look in the book and see what would happen. Don't even open up the book. Just when in doubt, just role play the whole scene out. characters killed all the orc warriors. They get to the little orc babies. There's some goblin babies in there, whatever. There's some pregnant ladies. And then the characters now have to make a decision. What do we do? Role play it out. Okay, the characters decide, let's slaughter them all. They don't even think about it. They're just like, whatever, they're experience points. They're sitting on treasure. Let's kill their asses. They slaughter them all. Then role play it out. Let the characters hear the crying of orc babies in their sleep. Let them have horrible dreams. Allow, yes, I'm bringing this up, within the ring of fire. Use a soliloquy. One of the characters is feeling bad and sitting by themselves, crying afterwards, suffering because, you know what, that was a decision we shouldn't have made. Now, all of a sudden, the simple peace, the treaty that the population tried to sign with the orc ravages, orc savages and hordes, now they have proof. Hey, your people slaughtered our babies. Not even our warriors on the field of battle, but our babies. Now we have a holy jihad against you because of what your adventurers, your holy men have done to our people. Role play it out. Maybe after they're done, the population hears about it and goes, I don't want anything to do with these guys. We're not going to honor them as heroes. Nobody does that kind of thing. Real heroes don't do that. Why didn't they just let them go? Why didn't they return them to their people? Why didn't they bring them to justice? Why did they have to kill them? Role play it out. Maybe the characters have a difference of opinion. No, we shouldn't do it. Yes, we should. No, we didn't. And the paladin goes along with the group reluctantly. Fine, hey, we still have a mission to do. We have to kill the orc children and babies, and I'm against it. But I need these guys to go on. And maybe the paladin afterwards is feeling guilty and is going, I should have done something. I should have brought my own players to justice. Maybe I can convince them otherwise. Maybe there's a way to make up for it. Create a further story. Every time a story ends, there's more story to begin with. You don't have to roll dice and go, well, let's see, let's make a saving throw. Yes, you do it. No, you do it. And it's done. Let that story continue. When in doubt, just role play it out. Who knows? Maybe the players do it and they change their mind, and now the entire group is guilty about it. Maybe they don't feel any remorse at all. They're just like, screw this. That's a couple hundred extra experience points. What are they? 5 experience points apiece? Boom, couple of kids, whatever. And then they realize that they have to live with what they've done, and the population is just like horrified by it. Even their own enemies are looking at them like, these guys are bad. Hey, maybe the bad guys and the good guys team together to bring the player characters to justice, and want to know what their explanation is. How will they make amends? Will they help the king unite the 5 regions because the player character's actions have separated it and people are galvanizing behind what they've done? You can always make more stories. So when in doubt, just role play it out, guys. All right. So anyway, that's me, DBJ, on my rant, trying to be creative. Not trying to destroy anybody's fun, but it just made me think about this. So it's just a video response to something that was made. I know Juce said there's been an older response, but he wanted to get to it. So I'm just trying to continue to thread and just hear what you guys have to say about it. All right. Thank you very much.